I am happy to take this opportunity to mention that the Water Research Center has been selected as one of the AAU NEPAD Centers of Excellence in Water Science and Technology in Africa. And we are now part of the Central and Eastern African division of this network. And we're actually hosting the secretariat of this group of networks. That's four members: Addis Ababa University, Makerere University in Uganda, IGAD in Kenya, and the University of Khartoum. As freshwater resources become more scarce and unevenly distributed, tensions over its use are manifested in everyday life. Therefore, water security has become an issue of growing importance in the international agenda. Water diplomacy and cooperation are now urgently required, especially in transboundary river basins, where stakeholders of the basin differ and sometimes have conflicting needs, claims, and culture. Therefore, training and capacity building in water diplomacy and cooperation is indeed very important to us in Sudan and the Nile Basin region as a whole. We believe that water should be a source of cooperation rather than conflict. Water diplomacy is an important tool for mitigating conflict and promoting cooperation. Water diplomacy is crucial since it combines a whole range of instruments: legal, technical, economic, arbitration, mediation, to manage water conflicts. And in this way, it gives room to all those involved in water conflicts to make effective solutions. Collaboration with IHE in training and capacity building in water diplomacy started 2 years back, and a strategy has been agreed upon in capacity building in water diplomacy in the Nile Basin. In November 2017, the first training workshop was conducted here in the Water Research Center with focus on the Eastern Nile. High-level experts and decision makers from the Eastern Nile Basin countries were brought together at the Water Research Center to discuss major issues in water diplomacy and cooperation and their role as effective instruments for water security in the region. The activity included the participation of about 40 experts from Sudan, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Egypt, from relevant water disciplinary institutions and water diplomacy fields, including hydropolitics, water law, international relations, water resources management, diplomacy, intelligence, and media. The training areas included the role of water diplomacy in water security, principles of international water law and dispute resolution processes, transboundary water governance, as well as the role of models and data sharing in supporting and informing transboundary water management. The participants of that workshop expressed their appreciation to the knowledge they gained in water diplomacy and its role in preventing conflict and in harnessing win-win benefits in transboundary water management. They stressed on the fact that training and capacity building in water diplomacy is crucial, and there is a need for a long-term capacity building program to fill this huge gap that exists in this area in the region. In this context, this workshop is conducted with participation from most of the Nile Basin countries. The theme of the workshop is more focused this time towards legal and developmental approaches for transboundary water management. Looking through the agenda of this workshop, well-known experts from the Nile Basin and different parts of the world will discuss important issues like international water law and conventions, governance, concept of conflict, cooperation and power relations, in addition to tools supporting water cooperation and conflict resolution, as well as science-based decision-making tools supporting water diplomacy and cooperation. A special session is dedicated to case studies and experiences covering examples from Africa and other parts of the world. Participants will then work in groups on stakeholder analysis, conflict analysis, and negotiation simulation. We feel that this workshop is a big step towards our intended long-term capacity building program in water diplomacy. We look forward to your views and suggestions on how to make this program sustainable, and look forward to other interested partners to support this program. I just forgot to welcome some of the representatives of embassies here in this room, the Embassy of USA and the Embassy of Egypt in Sudan. And of course, we look forward to collaboration with other embassies interested in this area to partner with us. Thanks to all participants, especially those who traveled from far away to join us in this workshop. And finally, thanks to the organization team of this workshop, and look forward to a very successful event. Thank you very much.
My name is Rosemarijn Horst. I come from the Netherlands and I work at AAU Delft.
Okay. What role does your center play in the water diplomacy and cooperation in the Nile Basin?
AAU Delft is an institute for water education in the Netherlands. So we train people from all over the world on water. So it has different aspects, so both from the engineering perspective, focusing on water quantity, water quality, to the water governance. And our work on water diplomacy is part of water governance. So the institute focuses on capacity development through institutional strengthening, through research and innovation, and through education. And our collaboration with the University of Khartoum is part of our aim, actually, to support capacity development on water diplomacy.
Okay. And in your perspective, what's the way forward?
So what we have seen from the training, which brought together so many people from the basin, and this has been the hard work of the University of Khartoum. So we are only contributing in a way of the content, and training people from all over the basin and bringing them together is a magnificent thing. To have people in the same room, to share experiences, but also to have the opportunity to be trained in a very scientific manner, or to try out to try out things that you cannot do in real life. So we had a lot of simulations, negotiation simulations. And what we saw as one of the important things is that the participants request that these kind of trainings can be given both in Khartoum for the Nile Basin, but also maybe in other countries, and not only for practitioners, but also for students. So what we are trying to do as a next step is to identify with the partners on how we can actually increase that this training can be given both at universities as part of existing modules, or as standalone training.
Okay.
My name is Ahmed Ahmed. I am the General Director of the National Water Research Center under the Ministry of Water Resources, Irrigation and Electricity from Sudan. Yes.
Okay. May I know what role your institute is playing in ensuring water cooperation and diplomacy in the Nile Basin?
Yes, in fact, our research center is a newly established center by the government of Sudan, with the help of UNESCO headquarters in Paris, and they help in preparing the study and of the role and the objectives of the center. And this center is aimed towards coordinating and leading and guiding the research of efforts in water resources as general in Sudan for all institutions and centers of Sudan, including universities, including ministry, including other centers, whether private or government, and collaboration with research institutes in the region, in our African and Arab surroundings, as well as outside world. So, in fact, we put all the research disciplines in water resources as our target to upgrade our knowledge and also to act and react with our environment and to help in bringing people together towards development of our continent. So we put hydro diplomacy as one of the most important disciplines in our work. This is why we coordinate for the second year now with the University of Khartoum, with IHE, to promote this idea of hydro diplomacy and in general the idea of integrated water resource management. So this is the second series of workshop. So we work together, the three institutions from Sudan, two institutions, and IHE from UNESCO in Netherlands. So we work together to arrange for the meeting, for the topics, for the participants, for the trainers, and we are hoping to keep this activity for long, to make it permanent and to crown it by a permanent activity of master degree in IWRM, which is supposed to be initiated between University of Khartoum, Center of Water Resources, University of Cologne, with the full support from our center and the ministry and Sudan as a country in general.
May I know some of the outcomes from the workshop?
The outcomes are very important for this workshop because this time it focuses on two very important and fundamental aspects of hydro diplomacy. It focuses on legal and international law aspects as well as developmental aspects, and also focuses on bringing different disciplines together. So the outcome is that people have some access to the knowledge outside their discipline, and they all speak the same language, whether they came from legal or from engineering or from social sciences or from applied sciences. So they all have appreciated the need for such training, for such education, and they all supported that such education should be widespread in the region, especially in our Nile water region. And maybe I recall that the first activity has been focused on the Eastern Nile countries, that is Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, South Sudan, but this focus on the whole Nile Basin countries. In fact, they are unfortunate. Some of them could not arrange coming, but our plan was to invite the whole 11 countries with different disciplines, not only engineering, legal, and economics or political or diplomacy.
Okay. And from your perspective, what's the way forward?
In my perspective, this is a very important approach, that to bring the people together, to get capacity building, to get education in an environment which is completely different from competing and real negotiation, although they do simulated negotiation, so they have hands on the job training. But the way forward is to keep such activity continuous and to upgrade it to, this is also recommendation of most of the people, to transfer this knowledge to the young coming generation, so that we build a generation that has the widest understanding that could lead Africa to development, real development, not unilateral discipline, not unilateral science, not unilateral countries, but all of us together. We work hand in hand together with our friends from developed countries. We can promote Africa using knowledge, using technology, using science and innovation.
Well, my name is Abdin Saleh. I'm a professor of civil engineering with specialization in water resources management, and a member of this center in here, the Water Research Center of the Faculty of Engineering of the University of Khartoum.
Okay, that's great. May I know some of the outcomes of this workshop?
Yes. Well, I think one of the most, this workshop is the second of a first workshop which we held for the Eastern Nile, that is Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt and Southern Sudan, where they shared part of the Nile, a very important part of the Nile. And from that workshop, I think they learned a lot. We think that, and we believe that water cooperation is more profitable than conflict and than development. Also, I believe very much that that sharing water is not the most optimum, but sharing outcomes could be the things which should be looked at, and we should look and sharing benefits. And I think there are a lot of benefits which we can help from the Nile if we work together. Yeah, personally, I believe that there is enough water for us if we manage to keep it from pollution, if we can see how it could be affected by climate change and others. And so if we have solid information, it can help in bringing this. And so the outcome of this workshop is that we should continue this work. It is important. We should see if we should go on this line where we look to it in a comprehensive way, or sometimes we specialize on different issues like the effect of law on this aspect, or the effects of political science, or the effects of the solid information, or the effect of the capacity building in negotiation. But we believe that this one is a capacity development, and as you noted, the participants are not from one discipline, they are from different disciplines, which makes water a connector.
And what's the way forward?
Yeah, the way forward, we discussed together. Of course, already in the center here, we have a strategy, a 3-year strategy already prepared with IHE Delft in Holland. And now we have other partners with us, like UNESCO Paris, the International Hydrological Program of UNESCO is now our partner. We have also locally the National Water Research Center of Sudan is also part of this thing. We will go with this partnership, and then we continue to see how we can make this feed at different levels. I mean, we are going now to think, some they suggested, let us make it also for different level of people, like decision makers or negotiators or others. Others, they say, okay, let us do it also in this place, and we bring those who matter here, because it's not only the engineers, it is the engineers, the lawyer, the environmentalists, the economists, the social scientists. I mean, there are many, the diplomat, the security entities. So we are going to consider the recommendation which they put up there, but certainly all this is within the strategy which we already prepared with IHE Delft in Holland.
Okay, and when will the next workshop take place?
Well,
next workshop?
We are thinking really not only to go in capacity development, we are thinking of this as a program, which even may include case studies, may include research. And so, yes, certainly we will have workshops. We are looking also for the funds, because you know the funds are important. One of the recommendations came in that IHE with this center and with others, they should look also for a big project with funding, so that we can achieve the dreams which we are looking for. But I could say really, certainly, we are now looking, we did the ferries for the Eastern Nile, we did this one for the Nile at large, but we are thinking of one for Africa at large, because shared transboundary water is not only in the Nile. We have transboundary water in all of Africa. And so I think our next workshop will cover the whole of Africa.
Okay, thank you for granting us the
You are welcome.
Well, I think that this workshop is very important because actually most of the world depends on a transboundary water source as a source of drinking water. So given the amount of transboundary river basins and groundwater aquifers in the world, actually it's integral at this point that countries and societies cooperate to manage water resources in a way that is peaceful and sustainable.
And how timely is this workshop in addressing the issues related to the Nile?
Well, I think it's very timely because the entire globe is facing a challenge of managing and preventing the impacts of climate change. And so water resources are becoming more and more scarce. Access to water resources is becoming more and more difficult. Coupled with the increase in populations, water is becoming a very scarce resource, and it is important that countries, that communities work together to manage the resource in a way that's sustainable. So I think that activities like this, workshops like this are very important because it brings together people from many different countries that share the river basins in an environment that is convivial and environment of learning, so that people can share experiences depending on their different disciplines, and that they can learn about the principles of water diplomacy, and that is why is it important to share water, what are the benefits to them and to the water resource for sharing water in a peaceful way. And this is why UNESCO is involved, as one of the core mandates of UNESCO is to promote peace, and we believe that water is a driver of peace, so this is something that is a priority for us at UNESCO IHP.
And who are the strategic stakeholders in the management of the Nile?
Well, I think many of the important stakeholders are, first of all, the users of the resource. So the communities, the researchers, the scientists. I think one of the things that we discussed in the workshop is that often we think of management of water resources from the perspective of scientists. We think that this is just the work for scientists, but actually they're policy makers, decision makers, legal researchers. It's a very multidisciplinary field, and so the stakeholders are all the people that benefit from and that manage water. Well, the expected outcome of the workshop is that we hope that the participants will take away what are the benefits of water cooperation, what are the principles of water cooperation, how to communicate effectively. In some of the past workshops that we've been involved in, we actually asked the question to participants who are involved in conflict management and peaceful management of water resources. Have you ever had training on conflict management? And we saw that actually most people have not had training, and so an important part of managing conflict is being able to communicate in a way that is effective. And so we hope that participants will first of all leave with why is it important to manage water resources, and secondly, how to communicate in a way that's effective, and that, I mean, above all, that participants also leave feeling that they've developed strong networks between each other, that they can work together, continue to share experiences, and continue to work towards the same challenge.
It is very important that we can have many of our supporting staff from the many universities in Africa, especially in the Nile Basin, so that we can develop cooperation for management of water, integrated water in the Nile Basin. And we have many people here mostly from Nile Basin countries, from Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. Plus, we have international person coming from UNESCO, Paris, and for IHE from Delft, Netherlands.
What's the focus of the Water Research Center?
Our main mandate of the Water Research Center here in Khartoum is that we want to enhance research in integrated water problems, plus promoting development, capacity development, and all other issues connected with sustainability and development in the Nile Basin.
Apart from the stakeholders you just mentioned, are there any other ones you forgot to mention?
Excuse me?
Who are the stakeholders present at this workshop?
The stakeholders, we have many stakeholders here present here from Sudan. We have stakeholders from research institutes, from the agricultural schemes, from many other institutes. They come here as stakeholders. Yes.
And what about outside Sudan?
Outside Sudan, we have many coming from, as I told you previously, we have persons coming from Germany, from Netherlands, from Paris, and from the African countries, Ethiopia. We have one lawyer coming from Aberdeen, from UK. also about this negotiation problems of the water problem in the Nile Basin. Yes.
So which bodies monitor the implementations of the outcomes that address the workshop so that are derived from the workshop?
Yes, we hope that in the future we have a good cooperation between all these different countries in the water problems in the continent, and to resolve conflicts and any associated problems about water. Okay, thank you very much. And then this is the start of the sessions now today, and we have, after 4 days, we have after we finish this, we are going to wrap up what is going and what we have finalized about these important events, and then we have a summary about all these issues discussed in these sessions following this 3rd, 14, and 15, and 17th of January. Thank you very much.
And finally, what are some of the expectations you wish to derive from this workshop?
Yes, we can expect many things. We expect cooperation, international cooperation, not only in Africa, but with others, the country. And we have also some people from South Africa, and we hope that we can have many other people, maybe from West country, from Western Africa and others. We hope that we have more cooperation, because we have a lot of similar problems in water transboundary, not for only Nile Basin. We have other rivers in our continent.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for granting us the interview.
Okay.